A brand new musical show comes out on Amazon Prime Video on the 4th of August, which also happens to be the birth anniversary of one of India's greatest musical icons, Kishore Kumar. The two stars of Bandish Bandits are here, Shreya and Ritwik. Guys, does it feel surreal? Does it feel like it was meant to be when you have a musical show releasing on the birthday of a great man? Did you even know it?
No, absolutely. I think it's amazing. We also launched our trailer on Mr. Nasiruddin Shah's birthday, so I think it's all very meant to be, all predestined. But it's amazing.
I've always
Ritwik,
called this project Destiny's project. It is definitely meant to be. I'm telling you.
right? Does it feel surreal to be promoting a show from the confines of your beautiful homes? ऐसा सोचा था कि ऐसा होगा इतना बड़ा शो मिला है लेकिन घर पे बैठ के इंटरव्यू कर रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल नहीं, जिंदगी में कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं था कि ये करना पड़ेगा, because I was really looking forward to seeing you in person, just being there
Yeah.
all together. But the times are as such, and yet there is technology to save us from everything.
Yeah, and it's also now a little bit. It's also comforting that I'm sitting in my house, so I'm a little less nervous also, and I can just sit with my legs crossed on my couch like this. Otherwise, I'd have to be sitting like really proper on a chair in a studio. But yeah, I think you just learn to live with the conditions that we're in. But
Right.
very excited to be interviewed by you today because I've always read so many articles of SpotboyE. It's really fun to be like interviewed by you.
Let's hope it goes on well. Very interesting name for a show, Bandish Bandits. Tell me about a time when you allowed the bandit in you to come out in your real life. Taking off from the name of the show.
The audition of Bandish Bandits, I think. It really made me unleash the bandit within me because the character that I'm playing, Tamanna Sharma, is called the Blue Bandit. And I feel like Tamanna and Shreya are not very alike. So even when I was auditioning for the part, it was very exciting that I was getting to play this really confident pop star who was really, really determined and had her goals very clear. And she knew exactly what she wants. So I think the day of the audition was when the bandit within me really got unleashed.
Ritwik?
For me, I'll tell you, it was a part of the show itself. We were shooting the first few days of our shoot in Jodhpur, and it was around 40 to 45 degrees, and we're shooting in a stone temple, and we had to be barefoot because, of course, it's a temple, right? And all I was wearing was a dhoti. Literally, all I was wearing was a dhoti, right? And you couldn't even rest on a pillar because it's made of stone. You would burn yourself. Those 3 days of shoot is when the bandit in me and the bandit in everybody in the crew just popped out, and we were champions through it. Yeah, literally everybody worked so hard as a team, and that's when the bandit in me finally came out, and I realized that I really have it in me to pull this off.
Right. This is clearly the biggest project of your lives, and all of us who have done something like this in life, we have this very romantic story. के अच्छा मैं यहाँ गया, मैं उसको मिला, फिर उसका phone आया. Is there that romantic story with the two of you as well, with Abhishek and Anmol from Casting Bay? How did it work out? Was it the typical, regular, conventional audition के लिए गए, or was there a more romantic, dramatic, filmy story to how you guys got the show? Ritwik?
There is quite a dramatic story to it. It was a play of coincidence, if I may say so. So I had worked with Mr. Anand Tiwari and Amritpal Bindra before. I was doing a very small part in a show they were making earlier, and I was at one of these parties where they were celebrating success of their show. And what happened at the party was I met a friend of mine called Lara, who is one of the writers of this show, and we were just chatting about she asked, what am I doing next? So I was asking her, what are you doing next? And she said that I'm now writing a show which is going to be a musical based in Rajasthan. And I told her that listen, whatever you do, I want to be a part of this show. Fine. So you make sure that you write this character thinking about me. And then we both laughed about it. And time had passed and I'd forgotten about it completely. 2 years later, I get a call from Casting Day. As he said, I'm more
Two
than
years later.
2 years later, this was. And I get a call from them saying that there's a Shankar Ehsaan Loy musical happening for Amazon Prime Video. Would you like to test for it? I said, who in their right mind would say no to that? And I just went there and I started testing for it. And I realized they called me to Silence's office. So I reached Silence's office and I was very happy that Anand and Amrita are here. So probably they're making the show, they're producing the show. Much later, when I got the show and I met Lara, the writer, she reminded me saying that, do you remember we were at this party 2 years ago where you said that I have to be a part of this show. And look, here you are. You gave the audition. You actually cracked it. Amazon likes you, and you're a part of the show. And that's when it all came back to me. So yeah, it's quite a dramatic story there.
Right, Shreya?
For me, I met Anand at a production house. We were both doing this ad together, and I went up to him and I said, "I'm a huge fan," and like I genuinely had watched all of his work, and as an actor as well. And I went back home and I told my parents that I met Anand Tiwari today, and I really hope I get to work with him one day. And then everything was forgotten, whatever. And then after a month or two, I got a call from casting day to audition for this project, and I think Anand very quickly had recommended that I audition for it. So I got straight into this audition, and I had like 3 rounds of auditions first with casting day. So after I cleared those 3 rounds, Anand had set up this workshop for there were about 4 girls and 4 boys who were in the final shortlist, and we had an entire day of a workshop for an audition, which was very very new to me. Like that concept, I don't think I'd ever done anything like that. So we went there in the morning and we started doing these exercises, different acting exercises. And then we broke for lunch. He paired us up with people and he gave us scripts. He gave each pair alone time, directed us, shot us himself, and just had some gave us some just gave us a very enriching day. And at the end of the day, I actually went up to him and I told him that irrespective of whether I get this role or not, I'm just very grateful that I got to experience it. And the most amazing thing is that after that day, I got to experience it for 75 more days. Every single day was like a workshop with that entire team, be it Anand, be it Amrit, be it the writers, be it the cast. I mean, the amazing cast that we had. We had our writers on set every day. We had our acting teacher on set every day.
Wow.
So it was an amazing experience.
तो मतलब 127 आराम नगर पार्ट 2 सात बंगला अंधेरी वैसे बहुत सारी ऐसी कहानियां छुपी हुई है.
हाँ जी बिल्कुल.
बहुत सारी, बहुत सारी.
They're making a lot
Right.
of dreams come true.
Of course they are. You know, Amazon Prime, generally, these are big shows. People have to be very tight-lipped, actors, makers, writers, etc. When you guys got the show, I'm sure you would have been told, "Kisi ko batana mat." How difficult was it to keep it to yourself? And when you guys are away for 2.5, 3 months, was it difficult to think of new excuses every day कि कहाँ जा रहे हो, कहाँ shoot हो रहा है, कुछ हो रहा है, film कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो?
We weren't allowed to talk about it, which was very difficult because I literally wanted to go on my rooftop and yell that I'm doing an Amazon original being directed by Anand Tiwari and Shankar Ehsaan Loy doing the music. But of course I couldn't. But I think tougher than that, holding that in was still okay. It was once we had the songs with us, I used to randomly start singing the songs in public, because they really stayed with me. So people would be like, "Which is the song? What song are you singing?" And I was like, "Nothing. It's just this random song," and so that was really funny. But otherwise, I think both Ritwik and I are not very social media savvy, if I may say so. So I don't think it was very difficult for us. People didn't know where we were. Of course, my near and dear ones, I couldn't hold back from telling them. So yeah, it was okay. But now I'm just really happy that everybody knows that the show is out, and they're like, "Oh, that's where you were when you were like in Rajasthan. That's what you were doing." So now they're putting two and two together.
Ritwik has
For
his innocent
me,
face, so he can hide anything, no, behind this innocent looking face.
that's what I would love to believe. That's what I would love to believe. But the problem is that the film world is this much. Everybody knows everyone. Everybody is fishing for information from here or there. And I personally have a lot of friends or acquaintances in the world of acting or filmmaking. So for me, as much as I tried to not talk to anybody or tell anybody, I used to get calls from people saying, "तू ये show कर रहा है? I just got to know you're in Rajasthan shooting this show." I was like, where in the world are you finding this out from? Because the only people who I ever told was my mom and dad and my sister. Nobody else knew what I'm doing. And I actually cut off from everybody and I was by myself. Even when I was in Rajasthan, I wasn't in touch with a lot of people except for my family. But I was constantly getting calls or messages saying, "Do you know you're doing this show? Did you get this show? Are you doing this show?" So as much as I tried, it just never worked.
Don't
Right.
lie. You only went and told them, I'm sure.
Chal jhutti.
I'm doing this show. I'm doing this show.
Tamanna, you play this very bindas, perhaps seemingly slightly bratish, very out there and unapologetic about her choices kind of character, Tamanna Sharma. How similar or different is it from Shreya Chaudhry?
I'd like to be quite dissimilar actually. When I read Tamanna on paper first, I was like, okay, this is pretty brand new to me in terms of of the qualities that you said. But my director really told me something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. Every time I'd be like, but why is she doing this? Why is she behaving like this? Like it's not adding up to me. He would just be like, you have to be your character's defense lawyer. So you have to believe 100% in what you are doing and, with full conviction. So from that point on, I cut out any thoughts of, अच्छा ये मेरी तरह है, नहीं ये अलग है, ये हाँ ये मैं हूँ, ये मैं नहीं हूँ. All of those thoughts just went out of the window. So from action to cut, I was just Tamanna Sharma. And more than anything, more than being similar or dissimilar, I think I've got to learn a lot from Tamanna. The way she carries herself, how confident she is. She's always very well turned out. She's extremely passionate about the work that she does. She's very clear cut. This is what I want. I want to become an international singer. I want to sing with Queen Ellie, who's my idol. And I'll do anything like, I'll work very hard and I will achieve that. So ये सारी बातें were very very interesting for me to play. And also the fact that she's so loved, because she's a pop star. She's an established YouTube sensation. So there's a reason people love her. It could be her music, it could be her personality, it could be the way she dresses, it could be anything. But there was that pressure that people like her is why she is this star. So all of these, and it was very new to me, obviously. So that was very very exciting and interesting.
राधे कितना ऋत्विक है, ऋत्विक कितना राधे है?
Firstly, I would like to say that I have not gotten any of this philosophical advice from Mr. Anand Tiwari. All he has always told me, shut up and act. She's got all the love from him. And all I got was, Kritik, just shut up and do your work. I'll tell you why also. Because I am very much like Tamanna and very different from Radha. And Shreya is so much more Radha. I remember discussing this with her
Yeah,
while
we used to actually
she
make
when we
fun.
read the
Yeah,
script. Where I used to just look at her and tell her, "Ki, you know what? I just have
this
to
is
observe you.
you. This is
Probably I'll
you.
find I'll find how to play Radhe because she's
Like
so
we
much
take
Radhe.
we take like cues from each other. So why is this person behaving this way?
Like I'm a better defense lawyer of Tamanna right now or back then. I used to love the character. I used to be so jealous of her. I used to tell her, I want to play Tamanna. I wish I was a woman. I wish I could play this character.
So
But
then you wouldn't have to perform. You just have to show up.
yeah. But very honestly, I'll tell you, today I'm in a position where, as much as to dislike Radhe and as to not understand that boy, as to just not get why this boy does what he does, or why does he behave this way, or why does he say such things, or why is he so aversive to certain things. Because that didn't make sense to me. I'm from Bombay. I've grown up in a Catholic school, and my parents have been extremely supportive about everything. So I did not get the core of that boy until I really started imagining what it would be like if I was a part of that world, and I really found Radhe in me. And today I can proudly say that Radhe has shaped a lot of qualities in me. Playing that boy has made me a better guy, a better human, and definitely a better artist.
Every time I talk to actors, especially young actors like yourselves, and I ask them about director के बारे में कुछ बताओ, one standard reply is director knows what he wants. ठीक है? But I've done a bit of research about Tiwari. I've been told वो नाम भूल जाता है लोगों के. So did that happen to the two of you initially?
Is that
No,
true? I don't know about that at all.
Yeah, कि
yeah,
नाम
you
भूल
don't
जाता
know
है.
it
We have
because
a long,
Shreya,
long conversation without even knowing what your name
Oh
is.
yes. You're right. You're right.
and he would not make you feel for a second that he doesn't remember who you are. Never. And
Yeah.
I'm for sure Shreya does not know about this about him is because Shreya herself does not remember anybody's name.
Yeah.
Anybody's name. I'm
I'm
one of
very
those
bad
lucky
with
few
names.
people who've spent 2 years with her and she still knows my name. If I
No,
cut
with
off from
me.
her for a
But the
month, you'll
funny thing
forget my
was
name.
people didn't know we were Ritwik and Shreya. Most people on set
Yeah,
used to
they
refer to us as Radhe and Tamanna. So
Radhe
at
and Tamanna.
one point, one of the spot boys was like, "आपका नाम श्रेया है? मुझे लगा आपका नाम तमन्ना ही है."
But
You
yeah,
know,
Anand is a ball on set. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
you call him Anand sir. He's a young guy. Yeah. Does he take
No,
offense if
please
you
I,
call him
ask
Gulab?
him what he calls Anand.
I can't tell you what I actually call him
No,
because
you
then he
have
would be
to.
highly offended.
No, you have to.
It's a joke. It's a joke between us. A few of us friends have given him a name. We call him So he's born and brought up in Matunga, and he has Gujarati friends, and he does this great Gujarati accent. So from there on, and we've always called him a Baap Aadmi, like kya Baap Aadmi hai ye? So from there on, we found a name for him, and I very fondly till today and will for the rest of my life always call him Papa. So we call him Papa.
Oh,
क्योंकि रानी तो पप्पा नहीं तो पप्पा. Oh God, he's gonna kill me for this. He's gonna hate me forever.
नहीं season 2 मिल जाएगा चलो कोई नहीं. Right. So this Papa once said Indian music is sexy. Now this is his quote. This is not a
Yeah,
figment of my imagination. He said
yeah.
Indian music is sexy. What's your take on music in general, and what's the kind of music that gets you to going, Shreya?
I think I somewhere agree with Anand because I had preconceived notions about Shastriya Sangeet, to be honest. But when you see these artists performing, these really heavy pieces of, like sargam, alap, it's not easy. And seeing them do that with so much dedication and, like you can see the amount of hard work that's gone into just singing that 10 seconds of an alap. It is amazing. It is very sexy, when they do it, when they sing it so beautifully. And there's just something that wo aapke rooh ko chhu jati hai. So that's the most beautiful thing about Hindustani Shastriya Sangeet. And I did have preconceived notions about classical music. I've grown up listening to it. My mother used to keep playing it in the house. But I did think it's a little boring. But by the end of the show, my most favorite song from the entire album is one of the classical songs. So I think that speaks volumes for how much I have started enjoying Shastriya Sangeet.
Right, Ritwik.
Yeah, I mean, it's really Indian music, especially Shastriya Sangeet. It has the ability to, how do I say this, kindle any of your senses, any,
Yeah.
absolutely any. So it can be romantic for you, it can be morose for you, it can be sexy for you,
Anger.
it can be something that really drives anger out of you. It can do so much magic, and music in general, of course, does that to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what the love, the passion that I found for Shastriya Sangeet after doing this show, I don't think that's going to die out anytime soon, because I till date in my recreational time still listen to that music, and I can dance to it, I can be sad to it, I can absolutely have a great time to it, and that's a huge gift.
Both of you are in your 20s, so I doubt if you guys would have seen the early days of Saregama, or was your first brush with music television reality show that used to happen, or not, still do now?
Of course, we've seen
No,
Saregama,
we've seen that.
Antashri,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything.
Antashri, absolutely.
The
I've
Sonu
grown up
Nigam
with
days.
television. The Sonu Nigam days, of course. Annu
They
Kapoor,
were
Sonu
amazing.
Nigam,
Anu Kapoor, yeah, exactly.
Right, the good old days.
good old days.
Ritvik, you have this thing for the words Purani Tasveer on Instagram. And I think on the 11th of July, you put up a picture with a guitar with the caption, "It's been a while." That's it. And your director, Papa, comments on it with the words, "Since I dot dot dot." And that got you laughing out loud. वो क्या कहानी है since I dot dot dot?
I've fallen in love with music. So it's been a while since I've made love to music. So that was the joke about it.
Since I dot dot dot.
Since I dot dot dot.
Your co-actor Shreya is a bit of an Instagram caption expert because she has some really fun lines for every picture she puts up. But the one picture of you, Shreya, that I loved was the jelly packet with Papa picture. Now tell me what your father said when
Oh,
you told him about Amazon Prime pe show mil gaya, and how do you think he'll react when he watches the show on the 4th of August with the rest of the world?
I think my dad especially comes from, this world of business and studies and academia and stuff like that. So he's very averse to the world of entertainment. So he has no connection with the industry. He's also not much of a movie buff as much as say my mother or my brother are. So for him, it was like my daughter wants to become an actress. I mean, okay, like it was very like almost like a shock for him. But I remember when he came on set one of the days and he just, took in the entire atmosphere and how much hard work goes into it. And he had the opportunity of watching stalwarts like Nasir sir, Atul sir perform and just, be amongst just so much art in general. He kind of, understood. where everyone comes from and why they're so passionate about what they do. And he understood where my dreams, lay, for example. So he came up to me, he said, I'm really proud of you because,
Wow.
here I was headlining an Amazon Prime show. So he's extremely excited and very, very supportive. So
Hmm.
I am, of course, very nervous for my parents to watch it because they're my biggest critiques and my biggest supporters.
Hmm.
But more than anything, I think as a family, we're very, very excited that we're getting to watch me achieve, fulfill some of my dreams and sit all together and just take it in.
Right. Let's talk about the day the two of you met Nasir Sahab and Atul Kulkarni for the first time. Ritwik, were you nervous, childlike, ke bindas? Sometimes we indulge in a bit of posturing that हाँ मैं nervous नहीं हूँ, मैं nervous नहीं हूँ. Was it like that, or were you like a child at a candy store saying अरे यार ये बड़े बड़े लोग आ गए?
I'll tell you. So, so I've really looked up to Mr. Nasiruddin Shah all my life. All my life. There are two people I've always wanted to work with, but I never wanted to meet them. I wanted to work with Mr. Shah Rukh Khan and I wanted to work with Mr. Nasiruddin Shah. But in my head, I knew I just don't want to meet them because I don't know. I would make a fool out of myself if I meet them. And as luck would have it, I did brush paths with Mr. Shah Rukh Khan once when I was working for Mr. Shamuk Dahu, and I froze. There was a cold sweat dripping down my spine, and I froze. I couldn't say a word. I didn't do anything. I just waited for him to do what he was doing, and then he left. Then comes Mr. Nasiruddin Shah, and the biggest project that I ever land in my life, and I get to know that he's going to play my grandfather. He's going to play Pandit Ji in the show. And I told Anand sir, listen, I cannot go directly on set because I won't be able to act. I have to meet him. At least let's do a rehearsal or a reading or something. He said, yeah, sure. And Nafisa being him, he was really warm and he said, okay, come over, let's do a reading. And the first time, so I landed up at his house and with this huge broad smile on my face because when I'm very nervous, I'm stuck with this look. I'm like this forever. Like for 24 hours, I'll be like that if I'm nervous around somebody. So I'm just constantly smiling. I'm listening to him. I'm listening to the narration. And after everything gets done, after we read a couple of episodes, he interacts with me and he says, "So, Ritwik, where are you from, and what have you done before?" And he was being very warm and very nice. And me, being me, I was trying to be very confident about it. And I was saying, "So, I'm from here, and this is what I've done, and this is the work that I've done, and so on and so forth." And the entire meeting got over. We spent like 2, 3 hours together, and then Anand and I we came back to the office, and then I tell him, did you see me? Did you see me today? Wasn't I great? Like superb. Like I was so nervous, but you couldn't have seen it. Did you see my nervousness? It's like you were looking like you were dying in front of him. I'm really butchering words right now. He said, "Did you suddenly got a baritone for what?" I said, "I had a baritone." He's like, "Yeah. Why were you trying to match his baritone? Why were you trying to talk like him?" I was like, "Oh God." So yeah, I did make a fool of myself. But this was the first meeting, and from then on, Nasir has been so kind. Yeah, so kind. He was literally been a friend, a guide throughout the shoot and after that. So yeah.
और और श्रेया की तो तमन्ना पूरी हो गई इनको मिलके इनके साथ काम करे. What was your first brush with them like?
Uh, so actually, the first day when I was just on set and I'd finished shooting and I was wrapping up that day, and suddenly I saw everybody fine, like, straightening up. Suddenly everyone was working very, like, like with blinders on and very quickly, and there was silence. And I said, what is happening? And suddenly I turned around and Nafisa was entering set. And just that aura was just amazing. The kind of, it's amazing the influence that he has on people for their work. Everyone suddenly became so much more disciplined, towards their work. But and I actually stayed a little away from him initially because I was obviously a little intimidated. I was excited about the fact that I was getting to be a part of this show with him. But when I started interacting with him, he was so warm and so welcoming. He actually spent some time later also with Ritwik and I and Anand and everybody, and he was like, we did a workshop together and stuff. So I actually formed a bond with him through the shooting of the show, and I think by the end of it was when I really like got to know him really personally, and he's so lovely and so warm, and it is just so opposite to what most people think, that he's very strict and he won't speak and stuff like that. He's actually like, let me give you an example. I was wishing him for his birthday, and it was a trailer launch day, and I was just messaging him birthday wishes, and he replied to me saying, Shreya, I was just going to message you to wish you luck for the trailer launch. And I thought, Matlab, this legend, how sweet of him. And all of them, be it Atul sir, be it Rajesh sir, Sheema ma'am, ma'am, Meghna Malik who's playing my mother, all of them are just such stalwarts and so talented. But they never ever made me feel like an outsider or a newcomer, any of those things, you know. It was very,
लेकिन
very
जब एक
comfortable.
एक दूसरे को मिले तब तो नर्वस नहीं होंगे ना, वो तो बिंदास हो गए, चल तू भी न्यू कमर मैं भी न्यू कमर.
हाँ,
Ah,
exactly. I
Arey,
think we both were
we
like,
bonded on that. That listen, in this entire set, you and I are the only ones who do not have
yeah,
umpteen amount of experience.
yeah,
So let's be a team. And we were a team, and how? Like
yeah.
we were there for each other throughout the shoot. You
Because
know,
it was such
if
a
she was
big,
nervous about something,
yeah, it was such a
say.
big deal for both of us to bag the show that we both had that same goal. Ki, you know, we want to do well. So we really kind of helped each other through shoot as well. If at any point before a shot, I was like, Ritwik, can you just do lines with me? You know, they were setting light or something. He would very nicely, like, you know, come and do lines with me and stuff like that. And also, there were days, and it was a very intense day of shoot. We would also, like, you know, chill and like just joke around a little bit also just to like take away. And then Anand would yell, conserve your energy. But he was actually more than just the two of us. It was the three of us as a real team. You know, it was really amazing.
Yeah, I generally
Right.
don't compliment her in front of her, but I'm going to say this today. I couldn't have asked for a better Tamanna because she's been a
Sweet.
friend. She's been throughout. She's been so good. Yeah.
Do I
Don't
have
take
to
it
be as
like that.
nice again, like back? I don't know.
No, you just have to
No, I'm
compliment
just
me
kidding.
after.
No, but
Right.
really, we had a lot of fun.
Right. I saw the trailer, and Kunal Roy Kapoor seems to play an agent. Have you guys also, in your careers, met such agents who are slightly cuckoo in the head?
I haven't. Have you, Shreya?
No, I wouldn't say cuckoo in the head, though Kunal's character is amazing. So Kunal plays a character called Arya, who's Tamanna's agent, and he is my most favorite person on set. Because when there's literally one day we were shooting, and the way he was, and we rehearsed the lines and everything, but
Oh
every
God.
time we rehearsed it, even in the take, I would start laughing, and it was so embarrassing because here you have an artist doing his job so on point, and you're just like, you're so funny.
There is
So,
no point rehearsing with Mr. Kunal Roy Kapoor. There is no point. There's absolutely no point. He will say the exact same lines that is written. He will rehearse the entire thing with you. He'll block the scene with you. He will do the scene. But once the camera rolls, that man is magic. There is no way. You have to be an actor of an extremely good caliber to not laugh when that man is performing. So there was no point rehearsing.
Right. Finally, we have very little time left. Your favorite scenes of yourselves or anyone else's from the show that you think you will remember for a very, very long time.
uh, there are a lot of scenes that are very, very special to me. A lot of Tamanna scenes that are, I'll always stay with me. I think my concert shoot is 2 days of shoot that was very special to me because it was just, I could just see everything that, I always wanted to play, be on stage, perform, do a lip sync in front of a live audience, though it was a shoot. It was amazing. Like, and we had, we had what, about 1,000 people there that I was performing in front of. So it was quite magical. Not 1,000, okay, I don't remember actually. Some X number of
A
like
lot
a
of
lot
people,
of
but a
people,
lot of
a
people.
lot
There
of
were like
people.
400, 500
Yeah,
extras for sure.
yeah, and so that was extremely special. And I think one of the days of shoot, 2 days of shoot in Rajasthan when I actually was not shooting. I went on set was uh, one day of Nasir sir's one scene which I will not reveal to you right now, and the climax. The climax is one of my most favorite scenes ever. So I'm really excited for everyone to watch all of these things.
Ritwik?
Yeah, for me, I've always told myself that I don't need anybody to walk up to me and tell me that I've done a good job or a bad job, or I don't need anybody to come and applaud. I just need to feel it within कि ये सही गया कि ये खराब गया. Of course, you need to obviously cater to your director's vision. So the director knows कि if this take is right or wrong or what you can do on it. But I never needed anybody's applause on set to feel good about myself. There was one day when we were shooting a scene. It was a very morose scene. I mean, it's a very sad situation for what happens. I can't really tell you more about it. But the scene had a lot of people. It had Amit sir, Rajesh sir, Sheba ma'am, Nasir sir, me. And we were shooting inside this confined room with a limited amount of crew. And everybody was extremely silent because it was really serious scene. And the scene gets over. We shoot it for like say about 30 or 40 minutes in different angles and so on and so forth. And the scene goes so well that every single person leaves that room in absolute silence. Absolute, including the focus puller, the guy who's holding the light. Everybody is just walking out in absolute silence. And I walk up and I did not gauge if anybody else is in the room or no. And I was just leaving the door. And suddenly I feel a pat on my back, very warm,
I knew
full
you were
pat.
gonna say this.
And I hear a voice tell me, good job. And I just turn around and
I'm
it's
so
Nafis
happy you didn't actually mimic the voice because he does so
because I
good.
can't.
Experienced
And
like some
he
100
just
times
passes
before
me
he told me
by.
good job.
Oh, that day I realized I just had a feeling, my heart screamed out to me saying, कि, Beta, you needed this. जितना भी तू बोल रहा है, I don't want this, that, you really needed this, and I'm going to cherish that for the rest of my life. And I know that I'll
Right.
have to keep working that hard to have an experience like that again.
So pat on the back from Nasir Saab. Papa seems to be very happy. The Jugalbandi between the two of you seems very happy as well. And I'm sure on the 4th of August when the show comes out, Bandish Bandits, it's going to make people smile in very difficult times. So Bandish Bandits comes out on the
We
4th of
hope
August.
for
And I
that
wish you
too.
both a lot of luck. And I hope to
Thank
see you guys
you.
soon in person as
Yes,
we talk about your next big project.
Yes.
definitely. Thank you so much for having us. Thank
Thank
you,
you for
thank you,
having
thank you.
us.